October ArtSnacks Ink Challenge unboxing. Isn't it November? Why am I doing this in November? October is really a month. I originally wanted to hold off on this so that I could get a feel for all of the different products before I tried to review the box. But if I'm being totally honest, the truth is that this is so late because I didn't want to record this part of the video. I've got some things that I have to say that I just really didn't want to say, and so I've been putting it off. Hi folks, I'm Chris, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Crushing Ambivalence. Many of you probably already know this, but for those who don't, October has kind of become the month of art challenges. Like every drawing prompt challenge out there happens in October. One of those was Inktober, and ArtSnacks paired with them for a while until there was some controversy. And after they dropped Inktober, they still continued the art challenges for October. So they've had this art challenge box going for, I don't know exactly how long, but at least 5 years. I think more than that. And I have gotten many of the October ink boxes from ArtSnacks and some of their other ones. I've never managed to do all of the prompts within the month, and that goes double now that I'm trying to record them. But I like the surprise of getting supplies that I might not have thought to pick up for myself. So let's take a look at what's in this year's box first, and then we'll get to other things. See what we've got. I really like that they have started sending things in plastic bags. The first year that I did the ArtSnacks Inktober set, one of the inks leaked. The plastic stopper got pushed to the side, and just ink everywhere. Everything was purple. So got envelope. That's cute. Okay, let's see what's in the envelope of goodies. I'll get the menu, but we will take a look at that last, because I'm the kind of person who looks at the directions after I've tried it. Oh, lots of stuff in here. Oh, some cute stickers. Airheads candy. And here are the drawings. This paper is really thick. I mean, really thick. I was a little surprised by it at this point, but we'll talk about why it's so thick later. It's smooth on both sides, but one side is still a little smoother than the other. Run it through some testing here. First, how it does with pencils and erasing. The paper is thick enough that it left indents, but the graphite came up okay. I also tried colored pencils and watercolor, and note how it doesn't really curl up here. I think you could use this paper for watercolor without any issue. I also pulled a corner off to get it totally soaked to see how much curl that it would have. That turned out to be practically no curling at all. I'm going to speed through the swatching here so that you can see each of these products on its own and see how they interact with each other. There are so many of them that I decided to do a grid so that you can see how each overlays on the other, and then also how they hold up to water and how opaque they are. The white and black ink for overlays are Ziller and P.H. Martin respectively. I was even able to make a rough color wheel by carefully blending the colors I received. I've also done a few of the day challenges, and I'll include some clips from the first one here so that you can see these products in action. And then I will post the others as I have time to edit the videos. Where to start? Paper. As I mentioned before, I will address the paper later in the video, so let's look at the inks. Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink. Now this is the brand of ink that I use the most, so this behaved about as I expected. The thing I like most about the Martins is their consistent application. Once you're familiar with them, you can use all of them in the same way, and they're also very pigment rich. Notably, these are truly waterproof, which is perfect to use under watercolors or other ink. Sennelier Abstract Acrylic Ink. Another of my favorite brands, but I've never tried their inks. I love this shade of blue. The ink is a little thicker than the Martins. It gave some nice dry brush effects and kept its color when diluted with water. Notably, this is water resistant, not waterproof. The swatch didn't smudge but a little when I went over it with water, but I wouldn't trust that with really wet media like watercolor. It was also the only ink in this collection that was translucent enough for the white ink to show through. Princeton Velvetouch Series 3950 Synthetic Brush. It's a decent brush. I've had some harsh things to say about synthetic brushes, but the Princetons keep making me eat my words on performance. I'd recommend these. The line holds up to use and keeps its shape. Pentel Art's Pocket Brush Pen. I had some trouble getting the ink flowing at first, but once it got started, it flowed just fine. The best way to describe this pen is that it's very brushy. It's good for sort of a dry brush effect, but I wouldn't even try to get any fine detail or solid lines with it. It's also the least water resistant of this lot. Reserve this one for texture. Uniball Signo UM153 White Gel Pen. This pen is hit or miss. When it works like it's supposed to, it's perfect. The ink is nice and opaque and it doesn't lift whatever color is underneath it. But being a roller ball, sometimes the stroke doesn't take in the middle. And it's not because of pressure. You might think looking at this that I'm pressing too hard, but this happens even with the lightest touch. It's kind of like the roller ball doesn't roll. That said, it is still the pen that I use for white highlights when I'm not in a position to use the Ziller. King Art Inkline Fine Line Ink Pen Set of 6. These pens surprised me. I didn't expect them to be very good, but the line was even and it was truly waterproof once dry. The nibs on them weren't as solid as I would have liked, but the ink was good for details and outlining. The ink is a little light though. I think you could safely use this for underdrawing since it's waterproof, but I would suggest going over it then with a truly black ink if you want crisp lines. Zebra Zensations Brush Pen. This really isn't a brush. It's got one of those flexible plastic bulbs on it. You can vary the width of your line, but if you hold it at the wrong angle, the center of the line doesn't flow, making it unreliable for outlining. The max width is smaller than the Pentel, so I think these two together would be good for creating texture. This one is technically water resistant, but a wet brush over the dried ink did create a cloud of gray. Finally, the Faber-Castell Pitt Big Brush Artist Pen. Yeah, these pens were discontinued at least 3 years ago, which means that wherever they got the ones they included here, they're at least 3 years old. It claims to be waterproof. Oh, it is not. It says it's a brush. It is not. It's a bullet-shaped hard nib with no give. The color is good. The ink is even and it's translucent even for darker colors underneath to show through it fully. But this is basically a high-end Sharpie. And if you like those, you can still find a few of these around. There's a link in the description to some. But whatever colors are out of stock, they're never going to be coming back. I would not buy this for myself. Now, for the collection overall, I am not in a position to verify any light fastness claims for any of the inks. Aside from trying to get the Pentel working initially, none of these was particularly messy. The Sennelier Acrylic and the Pitt marker both have a bit of an unpleasant smell, but I only noticed when I got really close. I think at normal drawing distance it probably wouldn't be a problem. And none of them had heavy fumes that you get with some ink-based media. Now we get to the part that I have been avoiding. I got a lot here. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not using notes. Let's just get into it. There are two dramas in this box. One little tiny one and one great big one. First, let's talk about that nice thick paper. Now, it is really nice paper. I like the paper. So don't think I'm bashing the paper itself. And they sent the paper before. But it is not what is on the collection menu. And it's missing something that I expected based on previous years. This is supposed to be I've got one here. This is supposed to be a vegan leather hardcover 48 page 8 by 8 inch plum chester notebook. It is one of these, but a little bigger, with the same artwork on its cover as what they sent. This artwork. Now, these have been included with many of the boxes. Unfortunately, I couldn't place my hands on any of the ones that actually came with the previous boxes, but there's one with a fish and there's one that said Inktober. They're really nice. Instead, what they sent us was the 6x6 glue pad of the thick paper that I showed you in the unboxing. That just has the artwork on like a piece of cardboard it's not even hardly cardboard, on the cover, and nothing to protect the sides. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. Mine got pretty dinged up in the box. The paper itself is Arnhem 1618 100% cotton, which I thought, okay, so I thought I had never heard of it when I was unboxing it. But they have included it in previous boxes, so I guess I just blanked on the name. It's the kind of paper that you use for lino cut printmaking or block printmaking. It's not really meant to be sketch pad paper. And this is not 48 pages. The paper is really thick. That looks like a lot. That's only 32 pages. And the menu says it was supposed to be 48 pages. It's a good thing I only pulled 2 pieces off for the swatching, because I thought I had 48 to go with, and if I had pulled a third piece off, I wouldn't have enough pieces to get through the entire month of prompts. So they didn't send enough for the whole month, really, if you wanted to do anything with it. But the paper is good. I mean, as you would expect from printing paper, it's really absorbent, it doesn't buckle, it keeps its shape really nicely. There's a little texture, but there's no tooth. So the quality of the paper is great. And the cover art is adorable. Meg Lees does fantastic work. The art and the paper are not the problem. The problem is how it was handled. I have seen a few people have said that they got emails saying that the switch had happened, but I can't comment on that because I didn't get one. I just know that it is not what they put on this. And we have received the sketchbooks many times in the past, so I was kind of expecting to get one. Now, they didn't specifically advertise that there would be one. At least I don't think they did. So it's not like it's false advertising or anything, but it was disappointing to see that it was planned, and then they sent us 2/3 as much paper instead. So that was a little disappointing. I don't feel like the value of the paper pad is as much as they're claiming it is, or as much as what they clearly staked the price on. That leads me to the real drama. Value. Is the box really worth what I paid for it? I wish I could say yes. I wish I could say yes. But a little math tells a different story. So all of the products are high or at least middling quality. They're trying to say that together they, let me make sure I got the number right here. They claim that this is worth about $114. I'm rounding. I paid $91 with shipping. And how does that compare to buying these products separately? Let me just throw some numbers up on the screen for you. I checked all of these individually against my go-to art supply store, Blick. I did look around for lower prices elsewhere as well, but as usual, Blick had the best prices. So I'm going to give you the Blick prices and then compare it to what they say it's worth. First, for the paper. I couldn't find the exact size, so I went with the closest that I could of the same type. It's what they sent us was 6x6 with 32 pages, and that is 1,152 square inches of paper one-sided only, because if I'm doing ink, I'm not going to draw on both sides of individual paper. The one that I took the price from is 8.5 by 11 with 20 pages, which is actually what they have sent previously. That gives 1,870 square inches of paper, one-sided. So I'm even picking a product for my comparison here that gives me more than what ArtSnacks sent. It's $13. The rest of the products at Blick look like this. Let me fill these in. That equals $66 and free shipping if you buy them all together. That is a difference of $48. $48 between the cost of buying it individually versus what they claim the box is worth. So now the stickers are fun and the cover art is fun, and I didn't include those in the price. So we should probably include that in the value, because that's definitely a value add. The website, let's see, on her website, prints are $10 and stickers are about $5. So let's add another $15 to that, and that brings it to $81. That still leaves a difference of $33 compared to what they say the value is. Now, you could make an argument for profit margins, but Blick Art has profit margins too, and so that number is kind of already baked in. By the numbers, even with the extras, this box is just not a great value. Dude, am I bummed about having to say that. I love ArtSnacks. I've been with ArtSnacks for years. I've been with ArtSnacks since nearly their beginning. I have bought a lot of the extra boxes, like the watercolor snacks and the ink collection, and I love surprises and I love new art supplies. And ArtSnacks is perfect for both. But I have been feeling for a while now like what I was getting in the boxes was just not worth the price. And when they went to quarterly, I didn't up my new subscription. I had decided to just sort of let my subscription lapse. I thought I'd give it a couple of boxes to see what they look like before deciding. And then this. Final verdict. Final verdict. All of the products in this box are high quality, with a couple of drawbacks. One of them being several years discontinued, and the King Arts being slightly lower pigmented. They kind of dropped that a couple of points. I'm not going to take any points off for the sketchbook, but I have to drop a couple more points for the price versus the product. I am regretfully going to give this box 6 out of 10 sunflower seeds, and I can't recommend it. I really wanted to be able to recommend it, but I just can't. I do recommend the individual products. I'm adding the link below to the box at ArtSnacks and any of the products that are available individually in their shop. The box itself is already sold out, but I am also adding links to all of the products at Blick so that you can get the best prices if any of them were interesting to you individually. If you enjoyed this video, tell us in the comments what your favorite art supply is. And I know everybody says in their video, and you're probably tired of hearing about it, you know, like, subscribe, click the bell to receive notifications when I post a new video. But it really does help the channel when you do that. And if you really liked this video, the link to both my Patreon and my Discord are down in the description. A massive thank you to my patrons. I really couldn't do this without you. I'll be back in, I don't know, a week or 10 with another video. And until then, happy creating.